Talk Money with Friends. Every single Wednesday, we have the privilege of coming to you, whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, even, to share a very important concept about money, finance, life. We believe that the information that we show in here are important and relevant, and that you, if you take actions, definitely you'll be able to achieve goals that you have in mind and the goals that you have written. Because let's talk money with friends. I was just talking to one of our guests, and she's like, "How long you been doing this?" Well, in a few weeks, it's gonna be a year, and we will be celebrating a year of hard work and also a year of an opportunity to come and present some really great topics to you. But we have plans that we've written a year ago, and we're seeing, like, because we took actions, and many times we're able to do it on our own, but other times we needed help. That's why this topic of coaching is so important to us. Last week we started this conversation, and we are going to continue in with Coaching Matters 201. Why? Because you can never have enough coaching or too much coaching, because our discussion needs to continue so that you can take actions. We not in the business of just sharing information and then you just take it and do nothing with it. So tonight we have two great ladies, two great guests, friends with us. We have an awesome lady, and Curtis, you've all seen before, he's been here. We're gonna give them an opportunity to share, because at the end of this live here, I want you to think about, where do you wanna be a year from now? Where do you wanna be 5 years from now? And how can each one of us here help you get to your destination? So without further ado, we would like to welcome our lady, Lady MC. Lady MC, could you please introduce yourself and let us know why you decided to be part of this conversation tonight?
Good evening, good morning, wherever you are. There could be people somewhere across the world watching tonight. It is a pleasure to be here. My name is Mikhail Sineris, known as Lady MC, for those who have probably seen me hosting an event. It is a pleasure to be here. Most people probably know me as a musician or a singer. Aside from the entertainment world, I did study economics. I do work in the healthcare administration field right now. And on the side, I did recently start my business venture officially, which is Lady MC, for all of your hosting services. And that is how I met Gabrielle Renee. And it is a pleasure to be here once again. I'm looking forward to discussing on this platform tonight. So I appreciate the invite for tonight.
Thank you, Lady MC. I have so many great things to share about you tonight. But before I do that, I would like to introduce again our friend, supporter, Curtis Chambers.
Good evening. Good evening. It's becoming a regular occurrence. Getting to
Yes.
see my friends. I love you all. My name is Curtis Chambers. I'm in Quincy, grew up in Boston, Mass, and that's where, I started my financial coaching practice. For those who know me, they know me from around the way for doing things like hosting financial literacy events and teaching folks about things as varied as foreign exchange, investing basics, and cryptocurrency. So I love talking about it, and coaching is at the base of all of this. So excited to be here.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited because, last week when we had this conversation, we covered many, many topics. But Lady MC, I met you this weekend face to face for the first time, because my mother my sisters and we had a huge celebration for my mother. She had turned 70 in August, and because of some family issues, we couldn't do it in August. But this past Saturday, we're able to do it. And as I was planning, I remember my sister saying to me, "Who do you have who could be an MC?" And I'm like, "Oh, Host Valson. Host Valson definitely could be an MC." I picked up the phone and called him. And Host Valson is a gentleman who's been on here many times, and he is working with Hosting Academy, right? The Hosting Academy, and you are part of the Hosting Academy. And I thought, you are getting some serious coaching and some serious support. I would like for you to share a little bit about why, as a businesswoman, you decided to partner up with an organization like that with Mr. Valsen, so that you can expand your business.
Yeah, so I've been hosting for 10 years. So most people probably would think with that experience that you don't need any more coaching, or you probably got this, you don't need any help. But in fact, you do need help. There's never a time where it's time to stop learning or to stop growing. So even though I had been hosting for 10 years, I didn't market it as much as I probably should have because I wasn't ready to take it to that level. I've known Sheldon or host Valston for probably over 10 plus years through ministry, through church. So I've always worked with him together. And I knew once I saw that he was hosting this academy, he reached out to me personally. He's like, I know you've been doing this, but I think this is going to be beneficial. And I didn't hesitate. And I decided to go to the academy. And I can honestly say that it's a game changer because as soon as I left the academy, I knew that it's time for me to do this seriously. It's time to take this craft seriously because some people oftentimes they tend to be hesitant or I can't do this, or maybe this is not the right timing, or I'm not ready yet. But in fact, sometimes you just need a little nudge or a little push to get it done. So I did join the academy. We had a full day of conference. And from then I just decided to, you know what, it's time to take this serious. It's time to take the next step. And it was about time after 10 years. So Sheldon has definitely, our host Valston. I'm sorry, I keep saying Sheldon because I've known him before he was the host. But he definitely played a big role in his team and getting things coordinated and making sure that we had the right guidance to really, if we decided to move on to the next step, that we were fully accompanied to do that.
Yeah, I love that idea of you partnering up with host Valston and the academy because of the fact that, you know, we've talked about it, Curtis, like you do one thing and that one thing will lead to another, you know, but you do have to take the initiative. So I know you've been coaching financially, do financial coaching. You know, they have folks who are sitting here since the beginning of the year. We've been talking about investing matters, planning for your financial future, and, you know, taking action. But so many folks, like you said, Lady MC, like I saying, like, you know, maybe I'm good enough. Maybe I know everything I need to know. I don't need to go and find somebody else to help me. Or perhaps they're saying, you know what, where do I go? But you are very blessed to have known host Valston. But what about you, Curtis? What would you say to someone who's sitting at home saying, like, I want to get into investing, I want to do X, Y, and Z, but they don't know where to go. And you are here available. How do they get that help, support, coaching from you?
That's a great question. I mean, I wouldn't even zero it into just myself. It starts off with, do you feel the need to, or do you see the benefit of? Because if it's not, you know, from me selfishly, I would rather it be, you know, with someone else. And so the major hurdle mentally is a lot of people don't take take a step back and realize that, hey, are you into tennis? Great. Serena Williams is the best ever. Into basketball, Michael Jordan, the best ever. Whoever you name, it doesn't really matter much with regard to the topic. If it's an apprenticeship, there's always a mentor. There's always some sort of relationship there. For Michael Jordan to be regarded as the greatest ever and still had a coach, why? He's the greatest ever. You don't need a coach, right? Serena's likewise. And a great movie's going to come out soon, which, you know, going to get the flowers for King Richard, her father, because he was and is her, you know, first coach. So coaching, we have to establish that there is a need first, not that I'm selling you something, because if not, then that relationship is not going to last because you're thinking that you always have the ulterior motive or what have you. You have to realize first it's psychological to see that there is a need and there's a distinct benefit in coaching. And then we can get into the, you know, the vetting process. Just like I went online yesterday and said, hey, I'm looking for a photographer. My community came out in droves and I had, you know, no less than 24 names to choose from, you know, in terms of opportunities and options. So when the time comes, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, as the old adage says.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah. Did you want to say something? Yeah.
No, I was saying you have to be ready to actually receive the help. If you're not ready, you'll never process what's being taught to you because your ego could be in the way or you're just not mentally prepared for it. So being actually mentally and emotionally ready to receive, it'll be most beneficial. You won't block anything out. You won't take anything in an offensive way. You're open. You're like an open vessel, ready to ride out the seashore, you know?
Absolutely.
So that is a very great point.
Yeah, that's a great point. But, you know, I noticed too, there's some people who just don't know what they don't know in terms of like, they don't know what they can do with themselves. They're looking for guidance. So if you were, I know last week we kind of answered that question, but who would be an ideal candidate for coaching? Someone who would be and can everyone uses some coaching? Now you did mention people like Magic Johnson, and of course I mentioned last week that Oprah. But who, like, if someone is watching right now, because you'll be surprised how many folks who are watching and still don't understand what we're trying to convey here. Like you who's watching right now, you in need of help. Because if you have not done the things that you need to do to achieve the goals that you've wanted throughout the year, you need help. But again, ego many times will get in the way. Who is an ideal candidate for your service again, Curtis?
Myself? Okay. Appreciate the question. I would say that it is someone who is self-aware, who has done some reflection, because a lot of times during discovery sessions or informal conversations, I will get to the point that you just, Gabrielle, just outlined so eloquently. Have you reached where you would like to reach? Did you reach the goals, or are you feel that you're on a great trajectory? Because if not, then yeah, maybe there's some education that could take place. Maybe there's something where I can support you. So basically, it's a nice way of saying, hey, if this has been working for you, then have at it, have more of it. If it hasn't, then it might be time to humble yourself and really listen in. So it has to be someone that has already felt what's out there and said, yeah, this ain't working. You saw what happened with the world. So it isn't even about if I lose my job, your company might lose its job. So if you have to understand that there's no safety net, there was no cushion, there was a fallacy to begin with, but now hopefully everybody's aware and is at least open to it.
And not only be open to it, but willing. We talked about know your worth, but willing to pay for it. So I know that the Hosting Academy is offering the service that you've been able to partake in and take advantage of. But how has that, there has to have been some investment, right? And even today, as you're doing continuing education, I guess, as well, with Host Valsa. So why would someone invest money and time, like you said? 10 years you've been doing this. What was in it for you to invest time and the resources for coaching?
My biggest thing is if you haven't been there, you can't take someone there. Meaning, yes, I've been hosting for 10 years, but there's probably a level that I haven't attained yet, or there's not where I've wanted to be with hosting. I wasn't there yet, but here is someone that I knew that's taken the steps to get where he's at or get where she's at. So it's not a matter of, some people sometimes they hesitate on spending money, or I don't think of spending money on something that is beneficial to you. I don't call that spending, it's investing the time, because you will get it back 10 times fold if you invest it correctly and in the right source. So like you were saying earlier, if you plant a seed, you expect it to grow, and you plant it with an intention. You don't plant it just to, I could have just paid the money and went to the Hosting Academy, and then, all right, this was great. I enjoyed the after party. We had an amazing after party, and I could just, close the books, shut off my laptop, and just left it at that. But it's a matter of you attend, you invest, but you actually got to put in the work. Then it would have been pointless. So I didn't even need to think twice about investing to it. And I wouldn't hesitate, not even just the Hosting Academy, whatever. You invest in school, you invest money into many years of schooling, you invest money into a book that you could just simply pick up, a self-help book. There are many little things that you can invest, but no matter how small or how big it is, you do it with a goal, you do it with a purpose, and you're willing to put in the work after investing that time, the effort, and the money. So for me, it wasn't really, it was a pretty much, hey, let's go for it. I did receive sponsorship from someone who was actually like, hey, I believe in your work and I believe in what you're doing. And they were willing to support me in that way without me even asking. But there was someone else who actually saw the potential and like, hey, I see Host Valson's work. I think you're a good fit. Or I might see Lady MC's work, or I might see Gabrielle's work, and I think you're a great fit. I would like to invest into that work for you, but do you want it for yourself? If I didn't want it for myself, it would have been pointless. And I still had to make my own initial investment into the Hosting Academy as well. I still had to commit some money. I still had to commit some time. I had to take time off of work. I could have been, like I said, I've been doing this for 10 years. Did I really have to go? I could have been like, no, I'm a pro. I got this. I know what to do. When in reality, there are so many other things that I learned that even if I did know, or I probably had an idea about, I know fully now, and I'm still learning. So it was still a win-win situation. And that's how I see things. That's how I go about things in whatever concept that anyone is willing to invest in.
Yeah, and the reason this topic is so important to me because I know that again the ego part. I've seen so many people who are struggling doing the same thing. It's almost like insanity, doing the same thing and they're expecting different results. They're
Different
kind of
results.
killing themselves trying to figure it out on their own. You having conversation here on Let's Talk Money with friends, and they're like, "Oh, I can do this, I can do that." When the truth of the matter is, they don't have the knowledge to actually activate the goals that they have. You know, they don't have the knowledge. They need support, but again, they're not willing to invest the time nor the resources because of the fact that again the ego is getting in the way, and or perhaps they don't know where to go. That's why we wanted to have that conversation again to let you know that there are resources available, there are people available to help you. You know, whatever, you know, the fact that I met you, Lady MC, I don't think if you had not gone and partner up with host Valson, because when I did call him and he's like, "Oh, I'm not able to come, but I know I can send you a list of people. Why don't you look at the videos and let me know what you think?" And I was able to see, you know, I saw several folks and I'm like, I like this lady. I think my mother's gonna like her too because she's bilingual and you know she has a lot of good energy and they all have great energies. But you know, I felt like you had what we needed for that night. And I think because of that relationship. So when you build that hosting or that coaching relationship, again, like I said, one thing will lead to another. So, Curtis, what type of, you know, we talked about the different types of the coaching style. So, when you work with someone, how do you coach them so that someone who's looking, say, like, "Oh, you know, I'm interested." How do you like the, you know, the three different type of coaching style? Which one do you use the most?
My psychology degree comes into play when I deal with that because people are, you know, I love people and meet them where they're at, and I have various I would say either surveys or quizzes that I might implement, and just from the answers that I get, you know, sometimes it's like a little game, card game that I have, and from those flashcards you can determine someone's money type or their money personality, so to speak. You know, because some people came up in a culture where, you know, the envelope system or under the mattress, or we sat down and we did these bills this way. And I never want to poo-poo, you know, what Nana might have taught you or Pop or whoever. So, you know, it's just a matter of finding out what has been something that you've been exposed to, and also just finding out what's your openness to change, your willingness to receive new information. And then I can just come from a couple of different angles because, you know, some people, you know, I mean, just having a discussion like cost versus value versus worth, things of that nature. And some people think those things are interchangeable. But yeah, the cost is just what I put on it price tag wise versus, you know, knowing my value, knowing the true essence of, you know, it's more subjective, you know, in terms of what something is worth or what the value is not monetary. So I may come in the beginning and start with the end in mind and say, what would it mean for you to have XYZ or this goal here? What could that mean for you? Whether it's in time spent with family, you know, to Lady MC's point, time is the precious asset, or it could be, oh, I'm going to have, you know, more money to do this for retirement. Okay. So once we establish these things, now when I come and talk to you about what we have to do in terms of sweat equity and definitely about my cost, it shouldn't be a problem because we already have this as the backdrop. This is like $1 million. My measly cost here in comparison is nothing, you know, when a drop in the bucket, so to speak. So I have to establish, you know, people's rigidity or their flexibility, and then we can go from there.
Yeah. Looks like you're very much the type of person who you like to work with the folks and kind of get a feel of where they at and work with them in a more like democratic way versus telling them what to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not an advisor. An advisor is going to tell you what to do. You know, I can be a mentor and a coach because I've been there before. To Lady MC's point, you know, it's something that I've done and continue to do. I'm not someone that you're just going to give your money to and then I'm going to, you know, easy bake oven and bring back, you know, your $10 and turn it into 1,000. You can go to a financial advisor or some sort of investor for that. As a coach, I got to get with you and support you on the behaviors, learn about money management, learn about you know, financial literacy, and get into the mindset. If I can't have a meeting of the mind there, nothing else matters. I'm not going to waste your time.
Yeah. So the importance of like you have to be interested in sitting next to the coach to learn the steps, the skills, the principles, so that you can get to the next level yourself. You're not doing
Work
it
with
for
the,
them; you're doing it with them. I like
yeah,
that idea because I know if you are someone who's already independent thinker, like you've been, Lady MC, you don't want someone to come and tell you what to do, right? You basically want them to help guide you and hone in your own skills and help you elevate, go to the next level, but not, you know. So I like that about coaching. So I had this lady who usually talks about health and relationship, and unfortunately she wasn't able to come today. But I have this question, and I wanna, because I was thinking about it all day today. You know, when we talk about coaching, we talk about the financial, the career, and the, you know, maybe health wise, you get. What about relational, like in terms of relations? Like, can someone who's been doing something that's not working also seek the help of a coach to help them in the area of relationship or even friendship? Have you seen, do you think that that's something, Lady MC?
I think the help is out there. Because when you think about coaching, especially coming from our culture, like in the Haitian culture, you would sometimes people would think that their parents are their coaches. When I feel like coaching comes with many different aspects and turnarounds. So yes, my parents or someone, whoever raised you, could be your guidance. Your parents might be they're looking out for the best for you. That's their job. But they might not have the tools or the necessities to actually strategically coach you. Because I feel like coaching is more strategic, as in like parenting or mentoring is a whole different aspect where it's like they're looking at the long-term effects of your career or your life or whatever it may be. So with relationships, like marriage counselors, I feel like they play a role of, in a sense, coaching, because they have the techniques, they have the strategies in place already to help you with whether it's a marital affair or a relationship, a child, between a child and parent, whatever the relationship there is coaching, I believe, that is available. And I feel like the techniques that you may receive, like from someone like Curtis, can be applied in many different aspects of your life. I don't feel like coaching is just strategically, okay, here's the steps to have a successful business. They're applicable. These are certain values and guidelines are applicable to whatever area of life that you're in. So
Right.
I feel like coaching it reflects everything in general. It's a domino effect. If you're able to learn to be successful in your business or in your career, those same techniques you should be able to adapt and apply them differently, but still keep the same standards and morals and guidelines into something else that will also bear fruit. So whether it's your relationship, whatever the case may be, whatever relationship, whether it's an intimate relationship or just friendships, relationship with coworkers or whoever is in your atmosphere. So I don't know if Curtis will probably be the best person to piggyback on this, but I feel like it's applicable to whatever aspect or whatever relationship that you apply it to. As long as you apply it correctly, I feel like it's applicable regardless.
So you're saying like the skills that you're gonna be learning from a coach, although you should have multiple coaches if you can afford it, but skills that you learn from one coach are transferable skills. Because when we talk about writing things down, write your goals down. Hey, if you're thinking about a relationship and you want to know what type of a person you want in your life, you better write a list of
You better write it
characteristics.
down.
it's
You know,
across the board. You're going to write things down. You write your goals. You're going to write the challenges. What's
Mhm,
worked, what's not, the growth areas, or at least growing opportunities. I'm
mhm.
going to write down. Just like how someone may have a budget or what have you. It's just basically it's slowing down so that you can speed up and recognize and say, oh, this and this and this. So a lot of people won't factor in timing, scheduling, or what have you, and strategy, listening, communication. So these are themes that are going to be across the board, being able to respond to a certain thing as opposed to reactionary. So it doesn't matter if it's a relationship. It doesn't matter if it was coaching so that I can be better at my job, at my craft. It could be something about archery. It really, these things are universal, truths and principles. So and definitely, they're intertwined, because a lot of times people have financial woes. It goes into, relationship woes, and then it goes into your health. So I always talk about the intersection, or the intersectionality of your financial health, your mental health, and your physical health.
Yeah, I like that word, intersectionality, definitely in every area. If you don't look at all the areas of your life, because my plan included everything, my health, my personal life, my financial life. And every single day I'm looking, I'm saying, okay, am I improving? Who do I need help from? I needed help with my health. I picked up the phone and called Perpetuity. She's been on the phone, on the call before many times on the show here. And I took the time to hire her. So that's the thing. That's the next question that I had. Again, either it's ego or people don't see the value in coaching, but also we talk about the price. There's a price to pay. There's a cost for the service. So many of us are not willing to invest the money. So how do you work with families, and why should someone see value in the investment? You say it's an investment in doing that investment, because for me, the money that I've spent to help me with my health, I think was well worth it. Well worth it, because I was able to do a couple of things this year that I had not been able to do before, including that 10K that I did this summer with her support and her guidance. So why would someone want to invest money into coaching, and why should they do it with you?
You know what the thing
You
is?
work with families. Mhm.
The funny thing is, it really isn't that difficult when you are paired up with the right person, meaning a person who's well informed. What is the barrier or the challenge is that we often dealing with folks who have not been informed. The school system is such that it was just generated to churn out worker bees or what have you, not to think. And that was even expressly stated 100 plus years ago, with the education board or what have you. Like, hey, I'm not trying to, bring out about free thinkers. I'm bringing about workers. And because if you were educated, you would really understand, what is the cost of this salad? $11. What is the cost of not eating healthy? You don't see that. No one's sharing that with you. You just see this cost of the salad because it's right there on the board as you enter that restaurant or what have you. But you don't see the high cost of the healthcare, or the things that you would need for your body, the surgeries, the what have you, the time, the shortening of your life, just the pain and suffering, because that's not either easily quantifiable or something that's at the forefront of your mind, because no one told you, hey, let's think about the natural consequences of the day-to-day actions. One person eats the burger, one person eats the salad. You're not going to really feel that effect today. But let's continue on that trajectory, and you'll start to see one go up and the other one start to curl down. No one plays that out for you or shows you the cost of that, because if you really saw the true cost of that, you would say, oh, that $11 is really cheap compared to the hundreds of thousands of dollars on the back end. So education will open everything up.
Yeah. Once you see the big picture, the real costs, not what's in front of you, but the real cost, the long-term cost of your inaction, in your inaction. Definitely. And that's not only with your finances, but relationships and everything else. And you mentioned earlier that, so many folks, my parents or even my friends, they're always tapping on, asking friends for advice, asking their friends to help them. And they're doing the same thing. Again, the insanity thing. You asking the same friends, the same set of friends to give you advice about relationship or about your finances or about your career. And you're getting the same thing because you have not been willing to pay, because you want it for free. You have not been willing to pay to get a coach to help you, someone who is qualified, who's been there, done that, who has the expertise to help you. Why should they reach out to a coach, Lady MC? Again,
like I was saying before, they're trained professionals. They know what they're doing. If I was able to do it on my own, I would have done it on my own. But clearly, if I'm not getting to where I need to be, that means it's okay to say, you know what? Here's where I am. Here's where I am looking to go. I'm not getting there, or it's taking me longer to get there, or I don't even know which direction to go to. When there's help out there, where there's trained professionals who know what they're doing, who've been there, who've done that. Now, with coaching, it's in a way, it's like they've gone the route, and usually every coach has another coach who has another coach. It never ends. So they've taken the path where they know where the pothole is. They'll know, by the Stop and Shop further up, there's a pothole there. I probably fell in it 10 years ago, but I'm going to give you the techniques and the strategic ways so that you'll see the pothole. I'm letting you know that it's there, but here are the options to avoid it. If you follow these options, you will avoid it. But also a coach, it's a free, I mean, everyone has their choice on doing things. The coach is there to guide you, but they're not there to do it for you. So you may fail, you may have mishaps, but the coach is there to let you know what's ahead of you, and they'll give you the steps on getting there. So that's the whole point of having a coach. The same for a mentor, where it's like they can see the long-term effect. They're more there to guide you in a way, but they're not strategically planning things out where they know what your A plan is all the way down to your Z, where a mentor might see the overall picture, or a parent might see just the overall picture. I want my kid to go to college. I want them to get a degree. I want them to get married, have kids, and be happily ever after. But they might not know the in-betweens of, okay, you want your kid to go to college, but what are the steps that they're taking to build their credit? What are the steps that they're taking to learn how to save? So they might not know those small little details they're small, but they're highly important. And like Curtis was saying, they'll have a long-term effect. So that's what I feel like the coach is there to let you know, like, here's what's ahead of you. I've been there. I know how to get there. Follow me. If you do these ways alongside with you, we can plan together and get there, instead of just someone who's just pointing it to you like, hey, go this way. But they've never even been there, or they don't even know what's laying ahead because they haven't even gone the route, if you know what I mean. So that's why it's highly important.
Yeah, it's highly important. And the difference between someone who's going to be successful, either in career, relationship, and you name it, any areas of their lives that they're looking to be successful at, the difference is guidance and support and coaching. Because I remember when I first started in banking, one of my managers, I was an assistant manager at the time, he hired a coach for me. And shortly after, I became the branch manager, because she was sitting here pointing out all the, like you did, the SWOT analysis, all my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat. And she sat there and helped me dissect all the skills and everything that I had. And then literally one day she said, Gabrielle, you have everything you need to get to the next level. Do not hold yourself back. And sometimes you need that little nudge, you need that little push, and that person will help you. So it doesn't matter if you feel like you have all the resources and all the knowledge, or you can tap into your friends for free. I tell you, if you want to get to the next level, and that's why I wanted Lady MC to be here, because I feel like her business has gone on to the next level because of her relationship with Hosting Academy and her relationship with Host Valson. And if you want your relationship to go to the next level, your business, your finances, your investment, reach out to Curtis. He can help guide you. Curtis, one last thing. I know last time when Frederick is your friend, who has now become my friend too, he mentioned something about, how the regulations have changed, which is allowing so many folks who were either afraid to get in or didn't know how to get in into investing. Those folks who are watching right now saying like, investing still very hard for me. Why this regulation has made it easier for them, and how they can get help from you to get started with investing?
Oh, great question. Because a lot of times, what would happen is you had to have already had a certain amount of wealth. This was the old boys network, and that's how you kept people out. You couldn't get involved unless you're already wealthy. And well, if I'm one of those who are already wealthy, could get in early. So by the time we could get with a major corporation, or some of these major companies, think of like the major rideshare companies that are out there. There's only two major rideshare. When they were pre-IPO, meaning before they were even public, there was someone that they had a conversation and said, hey, you know what, Gabrielle, you know what, Lady MC, there's this thought concept that we're going to get into a vehicle. People can just touch an app and get anywhere that they want. For $1,000, I'll give you, 2% of the company or whatever. The numbers are obviously off, but the fact that it was brought to you beforehand and you could get in, now by the time it becomes public, shoot, that $1,000 might get you maybe one share if you're lucky, because it's already publicly traded now, and now it's out there. So when things come out, like the other day, it was an initial release, the shares were $300-$400 a piece. So even if you have $400, that's only going to get you one piece. That's not going to be much because it's too late. Now there are organizations out there and entities that allow you to get in on the front end to say, you know what, you have to be able to have that foresight to say, this one might work. It's only costing me $80 and I can already get, 2,000 shares. If this thing hits, I'll be in a great position. No, it's not a guarantee, but at least I have the opportunity. And we didn't have that before. So the regulations have made it so you didn't have to be an accredited investor, which is net worth of $1 million or so.
Definitely. So it's very complicated. I know I've had clients and other people have called saying like, oh, I want to invest. I want to do this. Now it's so easy to do that because, again, sowing that seed and reaping that harvest is important because there's no guarantee in life. But if you're not in, you're not going to get any opportunity. So it's the same thing with coaching. If you've been thinking about it throughout the year, we've been talking about the importance of creating a plan for your financial future, creating a plan for your personal, your health, your relationships, you name it, create that plan. And if you need help, the key is, we've been talking about it and someone said to me, there's so many folks who don't know where to start, how to get started, Gabrielle. They need to know that they can go ahead and get help. And so that's why we've taken 2 Wednesdays to have this conversation about get a coach, get somebody to support you. Be willing to pay because the price that you'll pay will be nothing compared to the cost of you not getting the right support. Get the support that you need so that you can get to the next level. 2021 is almost over. What have you done?
It is over.
In a month, in
Just
a month
like
and a half,
that,
right?
2022.
Just like that, 2022. Last week, our friend Perpetuity talks about your health. What have you done? Have you lost weight? Have you been eating better? Have you gotten help with your diet? Cleansing. She does all those fun stuff, to help you look good and great and younger and healthier. Have you done that? Your finances. Have you been saving money? Have you been investing money? If you are thinking about your career, have you gone like Miss, Lady MC, gone to an academy to get additional help so that you can scale your business? The option is yours. The choice is yours. So honestly, we are asking you.
It's just a decision.
Yeah, it's a decision. It's an option. And we are telling you and we are encouraging you and asking you to go and get it. Go get it. Because a great coach will make a difference in your life. A great coach will change every aspect of your life. Like we say, it will be comprehensive. Your financial, personal, health, you name it. Don't wait for the new year. Start today. The time is now. Go get it. Right, Curtis?
Yes, definitely. You got this. Give us a call, give us an email, a shout out, do what you got to do, smoke signals, but just reach out, make the first step. We'll take the next 4.
Yeah. If you want to understand your 401k, like someone just called me the other day and say, I want to understand my 401k. Listen, call Curtis. He'll help you with that. Call me. Miss Lady MC, thank you so much for your time. And if you have a party happening, host Valson and his crew here will help you. Lady MC, I cannot thank you enough. You did such a great job for my mother, and you are such a professional, coming in on time, doing everything on time. And not only that, you helped us dance. Jerusalem. She was like teaching us all types of dancing. So it was great. I could have, my sister was saying like, why don't you do it? No. I wanted a professional because I know it was going to be worth every penny, and you are worth every penny. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your skills, and thank you for your energy. So we'd like to thank everyone for watching tonight. Come out and invest in you and invest and support the businesses that are in front of you. Because when you do, it'll be beneficial for you and for your children's children, because we're not doing anything for today. We're also doing it for the future. So thank you and have a great night.